Sam Okus, editor-in-chief of Nation's Restaurant News. I am here with Josh Halpern and Sam Stanovich of Big Chicken. Guys, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, now tell us about Big Chicken, because it has a very big person at the center of this brand. What's the deal with Big Chicken?
I'm only 5'9". We're owned by Shaquille O'Neal, right? Shaq's my boss, which is many interesting stories to say the
Very
least.
unique.
But chicken's a very personal thing for Shaquille. That's really his family growing up. It was all about chicken at the table with families, couple sides, a lot of laughter, talk about their day, etc. And he didn't want to endorse anyone else's chicken. He wanted to do his own chicken chain. So he started in 2018, got a couple open, started franchising, brought on Sam, and now we're kind of exploding.
Yeah, kind of exploding. I mean, there's a lot of demand for this brand, right? And you're franchising. So tell us about the franchising process and how you guys are planning a growth strategy across the country.
Well, the interesting thing when you partner with someone larger than life the way Shaquille is you don't necessarily get to grow in the constrained way, right?
Yeah.
So we're targeting multi-unit franchise operators. We have over 150 locations currently under development, ranging from coast to coast, from sea to shining sea.
All right, so right now, of course, we have a lot of headwinds in this industry. Supply chain among them. I know chicken has been tough for a lot. How are you guys able to balance this explosive growth while also dealing with those headwinds?
We just have to find more chickens. I don't know. Now, we put a lot of effort in supply chain up front. I think a lot of people care in the beginning more about their branding and more about tech than they do supply chain. We went the opposite route. We started with supply chain. So we work really, really closely with our suppliers. I was a supplier for over 20 years, right? So we talk at very senior levels with our suppliers, make sure they know everything that's going on so that they can be forecasting correctly. We're always in communication with them on a weekly level. Working very closely with the suppliers, having a national broadline distribution with Cisco's emerging accounts team, all of a sudden we're able to have a stable supply chain, relatively speaking, by 2022 standards.
Sure, yeah. Sam, tell me about your role in the brand and what have you got your hands in for expanding this brand?
So working with Shaquille and Josh, helping to develop franchising. I have the opportunity to handle both sides of both the sales and the service.
Okay.
Because the partnership is first and foremost. Bringing in the right teammates to be on the team with Shaquille is key to our success. So taking a lot of time, bringing in really high qualified, high skilled operators who have been through the process before is very important as we get to launch. And it's been an exciting time because the response has been tremendous.
Yeah.
And as people look at our brand and look at the food, that's what really brings everybody in, is the quality of food. So once we get our chicken sandwich, they get what we're doing and are really excited to join. And that's why they're joining and doing development deals in masses.
I was going to say, you must have to be pretty discerning because everybody sees a franchise from Shaquille. The demand must be off the charts. What is it that you are looking for in that franchise partner? How can you be discerning of who that person is?
We are looking for the folks that have the same values as us and wanting to be on the team for growth. So it's not all just about dollars and cents. It's about the reputation. It's about serving our customers and the value of hospitality, because our chefs created such a great product that's core.
Yeah.
So we have to start with the whole hospitality model and really continue to build from there and drive that. And because they're experienced operators, they understand the financials, they understand the real estate. But let's just get to the core and let's have fun.
Yeah.
Because Shaquille's about fun.
But being discerning to your point is critical. I think we have 15 or so franchise groups for those 150 stores. We've turned down over 1,000 franchise applications.
Wow.
Now, that said, what would you say? 300-400 of those start with, "Yo, Shaq, I'll open up a chicken joint with you." Not exactly what you'd expect from a franchisee, right?
Yeah.
But we do need to be picky every day. Shaquille's reputation's at stake. Big Chicken's reputation's at stake. We need partners that are doing this for all the right reasons, and we found a really incredible group of people to be our franchise community.
Sure. Something I know you guys are working on too is a very diversified approach to growth, which is you've done ghost kitchens. I think you're talking about cruise ships. Tell us about how you are strategically diversifying your growth. What is possible for this brand operationally speaking?
You mean most chains don't put unit number 3 on a cruise ship?
Nope.
The first award we ever won as a company was Best Fries at Sea. And it wasn't from Nation's Restaurant News, right?
I got to add that award, clearly.
You need a Best Fries at Sea category at Nation's Restaurant News, right?
Yeah.
But we're really fortunate. Shaquille knows a lot of people, right? one of his good friends, Tim Lywicki, who's the CEO of Oakview Group, he said early on, hey, I want to start putting big chicken in my arenas. His old boss at the Miami Heat is the owner of Carnival Cruise, right? The owner of the Miami Heat is the owner of Carnival Cruise. So Shaquille's been an endorser for Carnival Cruise for a decade. Now we're on the boats. I think the thing is, because everyone knows Shaquille, trial's not the problem, right? If people see us. So we go to Climate Pledge Arena, we're number one in the arena. We go to UBS Arena on Long Island, we're number one in that arena. We go to now the Moody Center in Austin, Texas, we're number one in that arena. Because people say, whoa, Shaquille O'Neal has a chicken place here, I want to try it. And then when they like the food, they keep coming back.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me about what else is challenging about this process, because explosive growth is exciting, but at the same time, you got to make sure that this thing is ready to go, right? What have been some challenges along the way in doing that?
I think the number one kind of challenge is, a lot of people, they struggle to just get demand, to get people to enroll. We don't have that struggle. The first day that Shaquille ever posted on LinkedIn about Big Chicken, Sam called me and was like, what did you do, right? Because we had, 300 franchise applications in the first day after one LinkedIn post, right? We've already gotten requests from over 25 countries around the world, and then you have to really do your due diligence. Like, is this partner legit? What is the deal here? Am I prepared to go international, right? So we have our share of growing pains just because we're growing at a rate that's sort of different, just because of the basic nature of Shaquille and kind of the gasoline that he could put on the fire. He's one of the best marketers I've ever met in my life, and one of the most authentic human beings I've ever met in my life. And people trust him. And as a result, a lot of people want to be a part of this journey with us.
What are some opportunities that you're seeing just across the restaurant industry that could be helpful for Big Chicken? What are some innovations out there that you guys are looking at that could really give the boost to the brand?
We just relaunched our website this weekend.
Okay.
Our website is now very heavy video.
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal talking about our products, talking about why each sandwich is what it is. But I think the number one struggle in the restaurant industry, and we're not there yet with this, but we are aware of it. And Sam and I were just talking about this the other day. When you think about the restaurant business right now, most of the key decision makers, the C-suite in all of these chains, we're Gen Xers, right? Mm-hmm. Most of our management is Gen Y, the management under us, right? Over 40% of our frontline cashiers and kitchen prep workers are Gen Z.
Right.
And let's face it, I have a 10-year-old kid. I know you have young kids too.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones who tell us what fast casual place we're going to tonight. Right. We don't have a vote, right?
Yeah.
So that means Gen Alpha is the one picking where to go for dinner. Mm-hmm. How do you talk to 4 generations that are absurdly different at the same time, right? Mm-hmm. How do you have loyalty that could talk to all 4 of these generations at the same time? Gen Z and Alpha generation, they're not looking for points. Yeah. They don't want the digital punch card, the buy 9, get 1 free. How does that work? The labor issues that we have right now, is it that people don't want to work, or is it that we're not communicating with Gen Z in a way that makes them want to come work for us?
Right.
They are collecting paychecks.
Yeah.
They're absolutely collecting paychecks. So I think we need to take a step back for a second as an industry, not always go looking for the shiny toy up front, and kind of just ask ourselves the question, if we're a guest-centric operation and an employee-centric operation, are we speaking to these right constituent groups the right way?
Interesting. Have you found the answers to that yet?
If I did, I would be a multi-million-dollar author. I would be,
doing the book circuit.
I'd have my own column in your magazine. Yeah. I'd be on the book circuit like my friend.
You might yet.
You never know. But I think the key thing is just identifying what are the differences between these generations and being self-aware of, I'm communicating in this way, but I need to be communicating in that way because I'm trying to target Gen Z, but I'm targeting them in a Gen X way.
Yeah.
Is that hitting or is that not hitting? And how do we change that up? How do we gamify it? How do we make them feel more part of the community? And a Gen Z oriented community, not a come join my Gen X community. Yeah. It's like being in your parents' community.
Right.
It's not going to work, right? So I think we've got some work there to do, and I always look at any tech, anything, and walk around the show like this with that prism in mind of what community we're going to be talking to, and how does that help me solve a gap in one community? Does it cause me a gap in another? Or can I build with multiple generations simultaneously?
It's such a fascinating thing, because thinking about like the Great Resignation, a lot of the labor issues, it's the Gen Z workers.
Yes.
And so if you talk about retention and corporate culture, you have to build culture that's important to them, right?
That's right.
Well, and to your point, Sam, let's look at that as Josh is talking about the generations and doing the big deep dive into it. How do we set that corporate culture right? And then look at the great brands. They understand that this is still a people person.
Right.
This is the hospitality industry, not the hostility industry.
Yeah.
And people want to be served and have that engagement. And now as we come post-COVID, they're going back to restaurants. You know, we're seeing 70% dine-in in our restaurants.
Oh, interesting.
They want to have an experience. So how do you teach this younger generation who's used to texting and devices to get in front of the counter and talk to people?
Yeah.
So how do you bring all that together in the way that they understand?
If you're sitting there saying, I'm not getting applications for inside the restaurants, so let me add $1 per hour, and then you're still not. Well, let me add $1 per hour, and then you're still not. Let me add $1 per hour. It's probably not the money.
Right. Yeah, it's a good point.
Right? It's probably we're not talking the right way to Gen Z and making them feel passionate about our community, because Gen Z really looks at themselves as a personal brand, and they want to associate with brands that they feel proud to integrate with their personal brand. If you're not doing that the right way, you're never going to get the guy. You're never going to get the guy. Let's focus our time solving at the root so that we fix the problem for the next 15 years.
Technology seems to have, come in and really help to, you could replace workers if you want, or redeploy workers. And I've had a conversation with some folks who have said how now you can pull the workers away from doing some of the hard tasks of the restaurant because they can be automated, and maybe you can craft positions that are more enjoyable. So is that what you're looking at too, for how to get these Gen Z employees utilized properly?
We use the top of the line Taylor milkshake machine because it pasteurizes itself every night and only needs to be cleaned. What is it? Once every 21 days, I think, right?
Yes, sir.
That's a gross task, right? People don't want to be cleaning that milkshake machine all that much, right? So trying to take that friction out, I think you're right. The more negative tasks that are removed from the restaurant, and the more we're able to keep it on the business of fun, which is key to Shaquille, the greater shot we've got of retaining employees and staff.
Right. Last question for you guys. What do you see for this brand in the coming years? You talk about explosive growth. Do you see a ceiling on this thing, or at some point are you going to have to pump the brakes, or can it be all accelerator?
So right now, there is a ceiling on it because right now we have to keep it to basically Earth, right? But if Mr. Musk or Mr. Bezos is watching this, as you do things in the air, I mean, we don't know what our ceiling looks like yet. It's early. All we know is we have great franchise partners. We're adding new franchise partners every month. Sam's done a hell of a job building the franchise community. We don't want to oversaturate, but we're by nowhere near our saturation point. You want to add to that?
I would agree 100%. Bringing the right people on, doing the right things at our speed is what's important. We've looked at other categories as a student of the industry, and we're not rushing for development because it's about the right people at the right place and getting the right buildings done correctly.
Sure.
So we're just staying laser-like focused at what we're doing. We're listening to everything that's around us. We're very fortunate that a lot of our friends in the industry share with us and have shared pitfalls and mistakes and are cheering for us.
Yeah.
And we cheer for them. Yeah. So we really want to ensure that we create, and as Big Chicken, give the best community back to our industry.
Yeah. As Shaquille joked at Restaurant Leadership Conference, may God bless the restaurant industry unless you're in chicken. But obviously he said it as a joke, right?
Yeah.
The more we work together as an industry, the stronger the industry gets.
Right, yeah. That's very exciting to watch as Big Chicken grows. Josh Halpern, Sam Stanovich, thanks guys for joining me today.
Thanks, Sam.